What's up? You are now listening to Americanized, a storytelling podcast where you'll hear from eclectic first and second generation Americans share their stories and real life experiences as children of immigrants. Hey there, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Roslyn, and unfortunately, this is the final episode with Jason. He is a celebrity hairdresser based in the LA Beverly Hills community, and he is also the co-host of the podcast I Told My Hairdresser, which is a comedy podcast where celebrity hairstylists' stories meet outrageous salon chaos. So you really get the inside scoop on the experiences that Jason has as a celebrity hairstylist. The podcast pulls back the curtain on the wildest, funniest, and most unbelievable stories from behind the chair. I will link the information to his podcast in the show notes, so be sure to check that out. In this episode, Jason shares some of his beloved memories and clients from the hair salon. Stay tuned. Do you have a favorite client that you've worked on? And this is back to your experience with Snoop Dogg. I'm just curious what he was like in person.
Yeah, I didn't get to, we shook hands. That was it, because it was just like, there was like a little meet and greet. But it literally was like so many people there, and it was just more of like a passing by kind of like thing. So it was like he did the show. It was for the client's husband's birthday party. So he was the main, person that Snoop was going through and like talking to. But other than that, because there was so much security around, it was insane. But hands down, I'd probably have to say that my favorite person I ever worked on was Robert Downey Jr. An amazing guy, very interested in people, and truly just a really nice and awesome person. The first part of his life were so shrouded in drugs and alcohol that now that he's sober, and I got to do his hair when he was sober, which was really, really nice. And he was really making up for lost time, and you could tell. But at the exact same time, though, he was very true to himself. And what you see is what you got. And by the way, the eye roll is very, very real. So I don't know if you ever seen the Robert Downey Jr. eye roll. It is super real because I've gotten a few.
Oh.
So... And I would say some of the most interesting people, though, some of them I can't say, unfortunately, but it depends on be careful who you want to meet, because not everyone in that world is very nice.
I believe that, yeah.
There's a lot of really, really nice people in the industry, but there's also a lot of like not so nice people in industry as well, too. So I always tell people, be careful who you want to meet, because when you meet them, it might kind of crush your whole idea about them.
Dang.
So maybe sometimes it's better just to kind of wonder what if,
Yeah.
But I think that the true art of what I do is in the people and the things that you hear from them and the things that you learn from them. I get, like you were saying, I get every walk of life inside my chair. So if it's like, I'll get a chef and I'll learn a recipe.
Yeah.
I'll get someone who, it was like I was saying in the news, and I learn more about, world topics that way. I mean, the woman that I was telling you about was in Tiananmen Square for CNN when the guy got run over by a tank in Tiananmen Square in China. She actually witnessed that. She actually witnessed a world event.
Wow.
That was like, that went viral,
right?
All over the world. She was the one who produced that, and so I am very lucky to have positioned myself in the salons that I'm in and meet some of the most interesting people in the world. But then not only that, though, you can just learn things like, I have a 5-year-old son, and I ask my clients questions about their kids and what they did and how they raised them and what was the best thing, or, little things that help you with raising your child. And everyone has, some advice for you.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic, and that's the kind of world I like to position myself in.
Mm-hmm. It must be a beautiful atmosphere and just, it's a wealth of knowledge from your clients, it sounds like. And my mom has experienced that too. Like, she's gotten recipes from her clients. We've made friends out of people and invited to different, and this is on a smaller scale, of course, not anything that you've experienced, but like, graduations, birthday parties, and they kind of become lifelong friends just through them sitting in her chair, which is, I think it's so amazing and beautiful.
They really do.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. I mean, I have a client that comes in every 6 weeks from California. She flies in every 6 weeks for a haircut.
Wow.
So you become friends.
There's loyalty in that.
She wants what she wants, and she can afford to fly in every 6 weeks, and that's what she does.
Yeah, that speaks to you too. Yeah.
It does, but we've been through a lot. This girl and I have been through a lot together, with family and, parents passing away, and that we've known each other's parents and things like that. So, who are you going to trust? You're going to trust that one person who's been through with you through thick and thin, and even with my mother, I mean, my mother's been a hairdresser. She's retired now for the past over 10 years or so, but she's been to the actual funeral home to do the hair on some of her clients that have passed away. Wow. The family asked her to come and do the hair.
Wow.
And that I have never done. That my mother has, I have never done that. But that's the kind of bond you get with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who talk bad about our industry, and I think that you're going to attract the people that you are like.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have all these negative people around you or clients who are just not nice people, maybe you need to go through and take a look at yourself.
Exactly.
Because one thing I'm a true believer is in energy. And if you have good energy, you're going to attract other people with good energy. And if you have negative energy all the time, you're going to attract that.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
And I'm a true believer in that.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. I believe in that too. You get what you put out.
Always. No matter what.
Talking to you is reminding me of all the chairs I've sat in since moving out of my parents' house, because my mom has always done my hair, and just the different experiences I've had. And I always have different expectations, I guess, than what I get. But there is one woman who really did, my hair was, I think the word is butchered with color, and a just terrible experience. So I had to get a color corrected. It was probably a year ago, around this time last year. So the woman who saved my hair, I feel like she just saved my whole life, because she fixed it, and I was so thankful, because it was. I will have to send you pictures if I can find them, and you will just lose it. Yeah, she was another woman the woman who messed up my hair. She worked out of the home, and my mom did too, so I wasn't gonna judge her on that. But in retrospect, there were things where I should have been yeah, I should walk out. I don't think this is a good idea. The lighting wasn't the best. Her sink situation also was not the best. And then she just wrapped my hair, so I didn't really see the final product until I got home. And I was trying to like it, but I really couldn't. I had to keep my hair wrapped for a few days.
Right.
And I was searching online, color correction, trying to should I do it myself? Should I go somewhere? I found someone, and she took care of me, in many ways. My hair was solved. I felt much better. Whole body wise, I just feel like I could breathe. And I don't know, hair does that. There's a lot of power in our hair. It's really interesting.
There really is. That's probably one of my favorite things to do, is when I do have someone will bring in their daughter who will be maybe 13 or something like that. Yeah. And I go through and I give them their very first grown up haircut. Yeah. And they look in the mirror and you could see their confidence come out.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And it is probably one of my most favorite things to do. I mean, I've met people that have changed the world, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But at the exact same time, one of my favorite things to do is to go through and give some 16-year-old kid their confidence. Yeah. And I think it's probably one of my most favorite things to do.
Mm-hmm.
because if you're not feeling right and your hair's not right, you're not going to feel right. And it's going to affect your confidence. It's going to affect the way that you react with the rest of the world around you.
Yes.
Until things get fixed.
Yeah, that's true.
When you give someone the opposite, where you do give them that haircut that they absolutely love, and they get their confidence back, or they get their confidence at that point, and they're just loving themselves, it is the most beautiful thing that you'll ever get to witness.
Wow. Yeah.
So that to me is probably one of the most amazing parts of my job, I think.
I love that. You're contributing to a transformation. You're really transforming who they are in a sense.
You are, but at the exact same time, though, a lot of people miss that. They don't see it. They're not paying attention to what's actually happening in that transition for that person. They go, oh, good. I made another client. Cool. Thanks. Pay at the front.
Yeah.
As opposed to really embracing and seeing the power that just happened in that chair at that moment.
Right.
A lot of people don't get that, and not only that, though, it's like the people who don't get it don't have the passion for what they do.
That makes sense.
So if you're not doing it with passion, then what are you doing it for?
What's the point? Yeah. Because that's the goal. You want to see that transformation, right? That's why you're doing what you're doing.
That's the thing, But it's with whatever you do. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter if you're the garbage collector or the hairdresser. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, embrace what you do and do a good job.
Yes.
And go home at the end of the day and be happy with what you've done. And just, you want to know what? Just leave the world a better place when you leave. Just one little thing. One little thing can change someone's life that you wouldn't even expect.
Yeah, without you even knowing.
Or just one kind word.
Yes.
That's one thing that I'm trying to raise my son is to be like that. And one of the things that he likes to do is we go for cookie coffee every morning at a local coffee shop, and he likes holding the door open for people.
Oh.
And people absolutely love that.
Because he's 5, right?
Yeah, he's 5, and he's like, this person didn't say anything to me. And I go, well, some people miss life. And that's okay. You didn't get to miss life. You're actually observing life, and some people just miss it, and that's okay. Let them go ahead and miss it,
or do it without a thank you. Do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Still, yeah.
Do it anyway. But when a 5-year-old holds a door open for you, it kind of makes your day.
Yes, that's why I'm like, wait, he's 5. That's so cute. Yeah. Oh. I'm so glad that we connected, and I love your energy, as we were talking energy, your positivity, and just your compassion and your outlook on the world and life. And before we close out, I wanted to ask you to give your final words to the listeners. What is your message to the listeners?
Be happy. That's it.
Yeah.
Just be happy. If there's one thing you can do that you can strive to be, is happy. And that's one of the things that I have worked really, really hard to be all my life. And I think I've gotten to a place now that I'm truly, truly happy. And I actually said that to my wife not too long ago. We were walking down the street, literally leaving the park, and my son is walking in front of us. And I looked at my wife and I said, this is probably the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. And you want to know what, though? It happened again the next week, and it happened again the next week, and it happened again the next week. So to me, if there's anything I can leave anybody with, is just find your happiness. Be happy.
Yeah. I like that, and I want to ask a follow-up question. I mean, I love that, and I love how simple it is. And I'm sure people wrestle with that all the time. What does that look like? What does that mean? How can I do that? Do you find that you find your happiness in rely on other people or things or places, or is that more of an internal thing for you?
My happiness comes internally, I think. That's for sure. It comes through finding gratitude. That's one thing that I meditate every single day, and I kind of go over a whole mental gratitude thing of I have a house that I live in. I have food in the refrigerator. I'm wealthier than most people on this planet. And tell people I live in a very modest home. It's not like anything that, it's not like a 5,000 square foot house, you know what I mean? But you want to know what though? I wake up every single morning. I have a family that loves me. I have a roof over my head, and it's just something to be grateful for, And so when you find that gratitude, when you find that and you truly see all the blessings that you have around you, that's when you become happy. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to go through and recognize life and the world around you, because there's a lot of people who are just living.
Yeah, just going through the notions.
Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. I love your perspective.
Unfortunately, and that's that everyone's making other plans.
Mm-hmm. On to the next plan, like filling out their calendars, checklist. Yeah.
Be present.
Mm-hmm.
Just be present.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
Be present for the moment. You'd be surprised what comes into view.
I feel like I align with all of that too, because that's the way to live. Like, that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you have found peace as well. On top of the happiness, you found peace.
That is one of the things that makes me happy, is that, I definitely have the peace.
Mm-hmm.
And laugh at yourself.
Oh, definitely.
Laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself so damn serious. If you're the person who's in charge and you're the ultimate person, you're probably going to go through and really disappoint yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the people I think that are heavily disappointed in life.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you want to what? Just don't take yourself so seriously and just laugh at yourself and try to be as happy as possible. It's the best you could do.
Live life and live it in love too. It sounds like that's what you're doing as well.
That, just be present for it. Be there.
That's beautiful. A beautiful final word. Before we go, I do want you to share with the listeners where everyone can find you with your podcast or any social media handles. A little selfless shout out.
Absolutely. I'm really good at being,
or shameless.
Selfless.
I forget the word. Yeah.
Shameless. Yeah. I'm very good at being shameless. That's for sure.
All right, cool.
Very easy. It is shit I told my hairdresser. You can find us at shititoldmyhairdresser.com. Our handle is exactly the same. The I in shit is an actual exclamation point. So but if you type in shit I told my hairdresser, even on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, we're definitely there. And also, we love hearing other people's stories as well too. So if you give it a listen, hopefully it spark a different idea or spark something that happened in your life. Send us an email at info@shititoldmyhairdresser.com, because we definitely want to go through and hear them. And the stranger, the better.
Absolutely. That's true. Well, that's exciting. I will find that episode you're telling me about and just listen to all these stories, because I love it. And I want to hear you more in your podcast with your friend.
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Just to go through and let you know, normally we do one to two stories, and at the end, we end with something called shitology, which is the study of shit. And we basically go through and deposit the worst advice anybody could ever get. So that's why we don't take ourselves very seriously at all. So we're just here to have some fun and just to have a nice time. So
thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was so nice meeting you.
It was a pleasure. I had a great time talking with you. Thank you so much for listening. Hope to catch you in the next episode. All original music produced by Stubborn Soul. You can find him on all music listening platforms at STBRNSAL.